What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. And if you are keen-eared, you'll notice the last couple months I had to change my intro for Webull because they had changed their promotion. It was a $100 account minimum to get the free fractional shares. I am here to tell you, if you ever procrastinated, if you thought about it, if you wanted to do it but didn't, now is the time because I don't know they're going to run this promotion again. But for September, you've got a holiday weekend. It's time to act on it. Deposit any amount, meaning $1, and they are going to give you 12 free fractional shares. All you have to do, click the link in the description, deposit any amount. Again, $1 will get you the 12 free fractional shares, but I stress to you, it had been changed for the last almost 3 months. So if you were putting it off, now is the time to not put it off. Click the link, just takes a couple minutes, and get your account set up. Now, EA put out an update today, really not too noteworthy as far as social media, but a lot of updates as far as the game is concerned, more really than the day one patch, I thought. So generally, this is when we see the most fixes because the game has been out in the wild. We've heard a lot of the same rhetoric of tuning and adjustments. There are some issues that you guys had pointed out to me, such as an issue with drawing defenders out of coverage on the gun empty halfback wide RPO stick draw, and a issue in coverage with gun bunch Y flex verticals. But doesn't Madden always have issues covering verticals? So other than that, you've watched my channel, you've seen on everyone's channel the infamous celebration of Jalen Waddle looking like a penguin and the player diving into an end zone and just laying there. Apparently those have been fixed, along with an issue that I hadn't seen where if you selected an animation too close to the goalpost, apparently you would go through it or it wouldn't work. They really weren't clear. One of the things I haven't talked about, and I do love it, is the big head mode. Apparently, though, even though a lot of people have asked for that to be implemented into other modes, it hasn't been, but it was, if you were leaving the practice mode, the game would somehow get stuck in that mode, and I guess you could go play franchise, Madden Ultimate Team, anywhere you wanted in that mode. Very odd that we haven't seen that, and sometimes I think EA almost just makes stuff up that they fix that no one noticed, because if someone was playing other game modes in big head mode, I would have thought we would have seen it by now, but apparently it happened. It just didn't happen to anyone that put it online, even though I would imagine that clip would get quite the views. They fixed an issue in the trench battle long haul minigame that made it difficult to tackle the quarterback. Again, we've had so many issues with tackling in Madden. I feel like if there was an issue where a player wasn't getting tackled, these would be seen. They said there was an issue in the Bucs playbook that referenced the Seattle Seahawks, and then obviously just various tuning and fixes to the abilities they put in this game, which, again, you don't have to fix things if you don't put things that don't matter into the game. Now, franchise mode got a lot of very simplistic fixes, okay? I'm going to read through a few of these, and I just want you to understand how simple these are. So they fixed an issue where franchise news, where there was no news, was being generated after free agency. They fixed an issue where the dynamic momentum home field advantage setting was not working properly. So a whole aspect of the game 2 years ago that was a actual selling point was not working. They fixed an issue where commissioners of the league were unable to edit the appearance of other CPU players. Now this one goes hand in hand with another issue. I'm going to read them both to you. So they fixed an issue where non-commissioners could change the age of a player. And then if you scroll down, it says they fixed the issue where editing a player in the front end would cause issues with their years of experience on field. So what this tells me is, and a lot of you pointed this out, they realized if you went in and edited a player, it would put them like 37 years into the league. And who knows how the game was going to handle a retirement, whatever the case may be in terms of re-signing. But it's odd to me that they fix things that go very much hand in hand, but they put like 7 or 8 small fixes. Literally, one of them says, fixed an issue where several injuries that were causing inconsistent recovery times got put in between those two, even though most people playing this game would know that those issues were going hand in hand. They fixed an issue where weather could change when resuming a franchise game. This has been in the game for years, and the fact that they're citing they fixed it now, I believe this almost goes back to when they had dynamic weather in the game. If you remember, the weather channel used to pop up and you would get almost like the actual weather for that area. So it's always been strange to me that when you resumed games, sometimes the weather would change as if that wasn't a safe setting. But I always thought it went back to the weather in that area, which would, I don't know, be mildly realistic, which we know Madden isn't focused on even mildly realistic. So from there, they go through a lot of the different menus, a lot of the different coaching awards, a lot of just the different small things. They even say several user interface and font issues, right? Font issues where you couldn't read things properly. Like, for example, the select screen where taken by in the draft, it was difficult to read. They had, fix that. Various stability fixes. Is this not general stability improvements all over again? We told them we don't want to hear general stability improvements. So they changed it this year. This is a new feature. It's various stability fixes. Now, Madden Ultimate Team, I want you to understand just from a bird's eye view, Madden Ultimate Team's fixes, okay? So much more refined in that game mode. Fixed an issue where after completing a challenge, selecting the next challenge no longer leads to an aerial view of the empty stadium. So that's just an asset. That's a graphic asset. That's nothing. Fixed an issue where entering settings from the new user experience no longer soft locks the game. That's a user interface. That's a very easy fix. Xbox One and PS4 will no longer have text overlapping on the coin rewards in Field Pass. Again, just moving something on the screen. Fixed an issue that caused economic information to not show in the catalog. Again, just an asset put in the wrong place. So much of this is they change their user interface year to year to make the game look new when it's not. And this is just kind of the finite things that maybe you don't realize working on the game because you're seeing it constantly, but someone with fresh eyes is going to notice it right away. They fixed an issue that caused stats to not track in solo battles if wearing an MCS uniform. Again, how finite is that? You're wearing a uniform and it creates an issue. That's the type of detail Madden Ultimate Team resolutions are. But when you go to franchise mode, we're talking about major things like you edit a player and they have 30 years added on to their NFL career. Superstar mode, obviously, I really don't care about this mode from what I've seen. I find it so interesting, though, that we go back and forth on 1 year, it's limited with players. The next year, they add in players. The following year, they take back players. And every time they do it, people ask to have the ability to play as a kicker, play as a punter, play as the offensive line. They know this is what we want as a community, and they continue to strip the game mode down. So from there, NFL authenticity, which to me, this is just insanity. They added the new Lions and Browns alternate helmets, which have been approved long before now. They updated the branding on the Jaguars stadium. They finally fixed the Jets center field logo. The Jets center field logo has faced the wrong direction now for 2 years. Apparently, they just fixed it. And also, EA believes that they can add it as updating the Giants center logo, and we won't think that they play at the same exact stadium and that they fixed more than one thing. They added a couple pair of new Jordans. They fixed an issue on the shoulder pads where the numbers were mismatched. This is also an issue with the Browns uniforms where the nameplates overlap the numbers, but there's nothing mentioned about that here. They also talk about adding Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez. So just faces into the game. Presentation into the game as far as fixing some of the static players exiting Super Sim. I don't even know what this means. Some of these things they need to explain more. The backwards referees that were in the stadiums calling penalties, they've apparently fixed. The missing NFL player portraits and the player wipes, they've apparently fixed. They updated some of the NFL exterior shots, which still look like they're on a Sega Genesis. They increased the volume of collision sounds. They increased the volume of team-specific crowd chants and a variety of commentary bugs. They fixed the issue with volume fluctuations with the music and ambiance and Superstar Hub modes, which was so annoying because no one played this game enough when they were beta testing it to realize when you were going from one scene to the other that it was all of a sudden voluming from high to low and then back to medium. Now, what's interesting is they claim they added 1,900 lines of new commentary from Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis. So I would love to know where those come from and what they're being implemented in and where they were actually spawned from, because 1,900 lines isn't a lot. I know it might look like a lot, but as far as what they're actually doing in the game, those could be things that we hear 1 out of every 10 games, and they're not going to override. This is the problem I think EA also needs to understand. It's not just add new, it's refresh. New commentary lines need to replace lines we've grown tired of hearing. New commentary lines need to replace commentary that is not proper. So when you have those third down plays and there's no excitement, it's not just adding, it's replacing. And this is where Madden just has such an issue. Build off the base that you have to make the game better. And then you don't have to worry about any of this because you're constantly progressing forward. But instead, it literally is one step forward, 15 step backward, and that's why every year we come out to the same game, the same problems, and it literally took them 3 years to fix the center field logo in MetLife Stadium, and they have the audacity to sit here and tell us that they fixed 2 different stadiums, even though we know the Giants and Jets play in the same one. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking out this video. You know I will be back in the week with more content.